It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
What's up, Asheville? Welcome to What's Up Asheville here on WRES 100.7 FM. I'm your host, Sam Parada, and today, I think for the third time now this year, James Shelton will be our guest today. What's up?
Hey Sam, it's great to be back on the show. I love your show. I follow online, and every time a new episode drops, it's always fun to see what.
Great.
Your episode on the TAP program was pretty fun. It was great to have Dana and Carly on the show.
Well, look at you. He actually does follow and he listens. So thank you.
Yeah, I may be one of the few, but
no, there's a lot. There's a lot. I get stopped in the streets all the time too for
nice.
like my autographs and stuff. So, if you're here, that means we're talking about CDBG-DR.
Yeah, Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding.
Yes, we're going to call it DR from now on.
DR.
Yeah, not Dominican Republic. It would be great to be there right now, but
I'd go.
It's a little too hot. But so last time you were here, we had talked about some of the engagement. Well, we talked about what it meant. The work that you had been doing, but let's give a quick, let's go over it again one more time for people who may not know what this is. So what is CDBG-DR?
Yeah, so we got a $225 million grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development earlier this year, following Helene and following an act of Congress that appropriated that funding to us. We then went through an extensive action planning process, a community engagement process, and we took that action plan that outlines all of our programs and the funding levels, and the kind of the things that we're going to intend to do with that funding over the next 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, we took that plan to council on April 8th. That was my birthday, by the way. It was one of the best birthday presents I've ever gotten was City Council, approved our action plan on my birthday.
And then the day after that, it was sent off immediately.
It went right to, the very next day we sent it off to the feds for their review. We got that action plan approved in May, which was awesome.
It's like a post-birthday present.
Yeah. If you're like me, I celebrate for like a month.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was approved.
Mm-hmm.
And so the big question right now, because 225 million is a lot of money.
225.
Yeah. It's not enough, but we'll get to that later. But it's still a lot of money that can help a lot of people. So the whole idea last time we spoke was, yes, it gets approved, and then we can get the money. But, there's a little caveat, there's a little few steps in between that as well.
Yeah. So
when are we getting the money? When can we start spending is the question, the big question.
That is the question, right? So there's a couple of things. One is we are right now finalizing our process for grant compliance and financial management.
Mm-hmm.
So along with the action plan, we also have to show the federal government that we're going to be good stewards.
Responsible.
Exactly. Yeah. So they are looking through our financials. They're looking through our processes and procedures and policies, particularly around procurement and preventing fraud, waste, and abuse, which is extremely important when you're managing.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and it's taxpayer money. So
right.
With a lot of grant programs, there's not as much oversight. You get a lot of leeway to spend the funding as a recipient, however you see best fit. And this funding is extremely flexible, but it is from a federal source. It's federal taxpayer dollars, and we have to make sure that we're extremely responsible with that. And HUD is helping us make sure that we're doing that. So that's one of the steps of the process, is that certification.
Because if at any point something happens, all that money can simply just be taken away.
We certainly hope not.
Well, I'm saying like that's what we're taking, the steps that we're taking.
Exactly.
Just to be sure that the money's actually spent.
Correct.
Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so that step one is that certification process. And at the same time, we're developing what are called program manuals for all of the programs that we're funding. So from economic recovery to housing to infrastructure. We're writing the basically the processes that we're going to follow to implement those funds into the community for recovery. We're writing those program manuals now, and we expect to start publishing those on our CDBG-DR webpage, which is on
AshevilleRecovers.org.
AshevilleRecovers.org.
Yeah, I always like .gov.org. Okay, yeah, so we have AshevilleNC.gov, that's our city website. And then for all recovery related topics is AshevilleRecovers.org.
That's it.
Yes.
So all of our program manuals, policies, procedures, our action plan, quarterly performance reports, any amendments that we may make to the action plan, all of those are going to go on our DR webpage that you can find on AshevilleRecovers.org. You can also sign up on that webpage to be a part of our newsletter.
Yes.
So, you can sign up via our public input site. There's a link on the webpage that you can, sign up there. And when we make any changes, want to send out any updates, if you're subscribed, you'll be one of the first to hear about it, which is a really great tool for us to kind of communicate any updates that we have. So as we're finalizing those program manuals and getting ready to open application processes later this fall, that's the best place for folks to get updates, as well as following us on social media. Instagram is where I always get my City of Asheville news. Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
Okay, that's great. I think our biggest following is actually on Facebook, but
cool.
It's cool to have outliers. So there was a lot that we can talk about and not enough time. So, you talked about the project manuals, you talked about the plan itself. I guess one of the questions I would expect some from the community to have is, how is the money being divided, and what is the money going for specifically?
So it's going to address what we call our unmet needs following the storm, right? So we, as part of the action planning process, we went through this unmet needs assessment where we tried to put a dollar figure on the three main program areas under DR, which is infrastructure, economic recovery, and housing. And we found that our biggest needs in the city of Asheville are on infrastructure. Our infrastructure program is funded at $120 million, and that's going to go to help go above and beyond what FEMA is going to bring to the table for disaster recovery. So if you look at, just as an example, the French Broad River parks, they were devastated during the storm, and we're looking to FEMA to be the first line of recovery.
Correct.
That's the role that FEMA plays, is to be that first line of recovery, to bring us back what we lost. DR funding comes behind that to say, what can we do above and beyond what
Correct.
FEMA?
Yeah.
DR is seen as this, it's not a funding of first resort. It's a funding that kind of comes in as last resort behind all the other recovery resources to make any recovery project more resilient, make it cooler. So if there's things that weren't there before, DR funds can help to build things that did not exist before.
Yeah, and that is a very interesting point too, because we have a lot of projects going on. For recovery specifically, and those projects can be funded by different venues. So you have FEMA, DR, what was the other?
Hazard Mitigation Grant Program is another one. Yeah.
So there's many avenues for us to fund this. We just gotta be careful that we're not double dipping. We're spending the money correctly. So it can be a little confusing.
Yeah, totally. It's totally confusing, but that's why we're, building out these processes right now, our policies, so that, it's really not, it takes the confusion out of, all that decision making and funding
Right.
framework is, we have to follow the process that the federal government gives us, but also our processes that we're developing right now for, how we're going to make decisions. So yeah, that's a $120 million infrastructure program.
It's over half of what DR is offering us, so
Yeah.
that's all going for construction.
Yeah, that's going to go for construction, but also emergency homeless shelter is built into that as well.
Yeah.
We've got a $50 million economic recovery program that's heavy on flooded commercial district revitalization. So making investments in private assets, where our infrastructure program will make investments in publicly owned assets, like in parks or emergency homeless shelters. The flooded commercial districts program for economic recovery will make investments in privately owned assets to expand job opportunities, expand business space,
Yes.
Make them more resilient to future flooding and other disasters.
Mitigation, yes.
Exactly. And within the Economic Recovery Program is our Small Business Support Program, and that's actually one of the ones that we're prioritizing to roll out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
That's a $17 million program for small business support, where you will see us partnering with local subrecipients.
Yeah, I want to touch on that actually,
Yeah.
because $225 million, again, is a lot. And, city staff, we can only do so much. So we are partnering with other groups so that they can help fund the money.
Yeah.
And so the program manuals will help them know what to do with that money.
Exactly.
Yes. And then we'll still be responsible and we'll be aiding them, but we are really expanding. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I could spend $225 million in 6 years by myself.
No, you could not. I know I can't.
That's a lot of money.
No.
So yes, please keep going. So how bring these outside entities together, how does that really help us outside of just spending the money?
Well, they have, one, staffing capacity, and two, expertise in administering assistance programs to small businesses. That's not something that local government typically does as part of our regular operations.
Right.
Like, we typically will partner if we have a grant source and we want to sub-allocate that out. We'll partner with a community development financial institution that does, grants to small businesses or loans to micro enterprises that are looking to get built up and expand their operations. So we're really going to lean into the expertise that's already in our community in terms of that program.
Right.
And we're also looking to bring on some contracted help at the city as well. This is a 6-year grant, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to stand up 30 different new positions at the city that are only going to be around for about 5 or 6 years.
Correct.
And recruiting is really, it can be difficult. So there are firms that do this 365 days a year, and they're very good at it. So we're in the process right now of actually bringing on what's called an implementation firm, where they're going to expand our capacity, bring on a lot of really great expertise, and help us activate these funds for our community faster than we would ever be able to do on our own. So we're super excited
And more
about
efficiently
that.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
compliantly. And compliantly.
Keyword. We want that money.
Yes.
So, I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit. When we're talking about the unmet needs assessments, we're talking about $1 billion worth of potential damage that needs to be fixed or things that need to be solved. And so, realistically, we don't have that money. So how did you come to the decision to go after the, small business grants, housing? How do you come to the decision of how much money to apply to each of them?
Well, it's proportional to what we found in the unmet needs assessment. So that assessment looked at all of the recovery resources that, have come after Helene, and looked at the, try to figure out a dollar figure that's,
It's hard to do, but...
And there's a methodology to it, but
Yeah.
it's always going to be an estimate. But what we found was that infrastructure was the biggest, economic damage was the second, and then housing. And you'll see in our action plan that that's kind of how it stacks up with our program allocations, where infrastructure is at 120 million, economic recovery is at 50, and then housing is at I think it's at about 30. Okay. I can't remember specifically the number off the top of my head right now, but that's how we come to those figures. And we also had a lot of community input as well.
Yes.
Our community engagement, what we heard from our local partners and from residents was that we had an initial plan that went out, and we got some feedback on that. We made some adjustments thanks to that feedback, and we'll make adjustments moving forward as well. If we find that we've grossly underfunded a program and we're seeing a lot of demand for one of our programs, we have the opportunity to adjust funding here and there as we need to.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that it needs change throughout the years. So maybe what was really important when Helene hit won't be as much of a priority in 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that there's the opportunity to pivot and make amendments to the plan. So there was the small business grant manual. How many more are we working on currently?
We have, working on currently, I'll put it this way, we've got 3 that are pretty well done. They're in their final review stage, and we're going to be working with our recovery lead team at the city, in the city manager's office, to get those finalized. And then we'll be publishing those on our webpage, where folks can take a look at them, send us any comments or suggestions. Those documents are never in like a final format. They're not subject to federal review until later on down the road when we get monitored, which we will get monitored by the feds, and they'll look at those program manuals, but they're really intended to serve as
a guide for us
to make decisions. Yeah, for sure. So we've got 3: our infrastructure program, small business support, and our planning program were the 3 that we've prioritized first. The remaining 4, 5, 6,
5.
Yeah, 5 will be done by the end of September. Is our goal. So we've set a timeline to have all of the program manuals completely done by the end of September, published online, which means at that point, once those program manuals are public and we put them on the webpage and we have a grant agreement in place with the feds for the full sum of the grant, then we can start implementing programs and really hit the ground running.
So that means money will be flowing.
Correct. Well, it'll be flowing, but we have to follow a process of making that's in their program manuals of how we go about making decisions about who gets what funding and, and at what level.
Because we have 17 million for the small businesses, but it's not like all 17 million will just immediately be out on the streets.
Correct.
There's not be a process. And you can look at it, you can make suggestions.
And I want to emphasize, Sam, that not everyone qualifies to receive this funding. It's targeted for low to moderate income resident benefits. So it really is intended to benefit
revitalize.
It's intended to benefit the folks in our community and neighborhoods who have the least. So it's not supposed to be something that if you're wealthy and well off and are able to recover on your own without the need for federal assistance like this, then you're not going to be eligible. Like it is what's called a means tested program, which I really like that about this program because it really shows that we have an opportunity to make an investment for those in our community who, when disasters hit, those who have the least opportunity to recover.
Yeah, and is the idea that when the people who are either struggling or who have been left behind historically, when those people start succeeding and being part of the city and part of the community, everyone benefits. And it's just like that happens with everything. So that is good news. Also, the places that got hit the hardest are the ones that are going to need the most help. So good to know. So the program manuals will be ready by September. Then we can start seeing a lot of the projects take off. Again, 6 years. Give or take 5.5, 6 years. I don't expect everything to be fixed immediately, obviously, because again, it's supposed to be a long-term recovery program. So just keep an eye out, and we'll just keep updating you as the projects develop.
It's going to be an exciting time coming into this fall and winter. We've been in kind of what I feel like is a fairly quiet time after we got our action plan approved, where we're kind of working behind the scenes to build up these program manuals. And the way that I describe these things is like it's our decision-making machines that are going to help us make good, compliant, fair, transparent decisions on how funding gets approved and at what levels and for what projects. So, this is a new grant program for us, right? So we did not have the decision-making machine, the decision-making infrastructure on how to decide, where does $120 million for an infrastructure program go? And it's not just going to be up to James Shelton or Sam Parada to say, which projects get funded
right here,
which ones don't. If I could let Sam Parada make that choice, I certainly would.
Ooh,
I would
I don't know.
What would you do if you what?
I think Asheville really needs an ice skating rink.
A skating rink.
It's ice skating specifically.
Ice skating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like I have no good ideas here. That's my one and only priority. So what would you do?
What would I do? Well, see, it's not up to me, Sam. That's why.
Come on, you set me up right there.
What we're building right now, what I would do is have a decision-making framework where folks who have projects and ideas can come to the decision-making machine, that you feed your idea and request into the machine. It goes through a clear, transparent, fair process, and on the other end of your machine, you have a decision that says this is a eligible project,
or it's not.
It's compliant with the federal program. It should be funded at this level because of the needs, because of other identified resources, and it fits within the city of Asheville's recovery priorities. Trust the process.
It just sets parameters, yeah. And you bring something very important in, which is some of this money will be used by the city. Like the city will spend it, not necessarily by a third party. So it's not like just because you work at the city and you have a project, you're going to get approved. There's those steps that will take place too. And we haven't been really communicating much about CDBG-DR lately because, again, you've been working internally on creating these manuals, and there just haven't been any exciting news, but there will be going forward. So expect a lot too, because there's a lot of projects, and this is not all under the umbrella. It's under the umbrella of CDBG-DR, but each of them will require specific attention. Yeah.
So that's what we're working on right now, is that specific attention. We're building our capacity internally right now. So we're working on hiring for a CDBG-DR program manager who will work on our team, who will be the lead person for managing the overall process of the grant. So we're super excited to get that person on board.
You're super excited.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, it will, but I definitely see the role as like a partnership. Like it's like we're going to work together because it's been a lot of work to get us to where we are. And I'm super excited to have more folks come in to work at the city to bring us that capacity.
You'll still be in this show in a few months from now talking about what's new.
Oh, please keep inviting me, dude. This is one of the favorite things I get to do in my job, Sam, is come on Sam's show.
That's great.
But yeah, I'll come with our new DR program manager here in a few months to give an update.
That's great.
And then hopefully we'll also have, we're looking to get 3 more program leads hired as well.
Yeah, so tell me about that.
Yeah, so we're going to be posting 3 positions over the next few weeks. Each will be a program lead for our main program areas. So housing, infrastructure, and economic recovery. So these folks will be the lead person in charge of overseeing the administration of these funds in each of those program areas.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a huge job.
It's not just, I don't know how the position is going to look like, but I also expect, communications going on in there, the planning process, and just, there's so much that goes into a single project.
Yeah.
So very exciting to have that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I knew everything else.
You thought I was going to come on the show and not make news?
Come on, I don't know. You didn't give me talking points. I just, come on. But yeah, so that's good. And so that's going to be in the upcoming weeks. And then these positions obviously are going to be temporary, quote unquote, because 6 years. But that is a lot of work that will take place in those 6 years.
Yep.
And they're going to be city employees specifically.
Yeah, they will be city employees, city hires that will work in conjunction with our contracted firm that's going to help us to implement the program. So that's what it's a joint thing where you need to have people internally at the city who can be the responsible entity at the city. We're the only ones that can sign contracts. We're the only ones who can authorize payments and disbursements of the grant funds. funds, any contracted help that we bring on, they're really there to serve as like a capacity builder and to allow us to have more hands on deck to get the work done.
Right.
And we're super excited to have that. But in the end, we're the ones who are responsible for actually implementing those funds. So we're the ones who we actually have to have city hires who, in the end, are reporting to me, to my director, and then to the city manager. Yep. So that's exactly what we're standing up right now.
And council too.
And city council as well.
City council. Yeah, there are so many layers to everything. But the help we've been receiving so far has been great. I know the help we'll be receiving in the future will be great. And then on top of that, having your own team to focus just on CDBG-DR. I'm very excited for that because it really does feel like I'm coming to two people at any point to give my latest updates. So having people more involved, not saying you're not doing a great job, but having people really, really involved, and they do this every single day, because James has been doing CDBG-DR stuff and the job that he was hired for since he got hired right before Helene. So, big thanks to you.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, Sam. I mean, it's really been an incredible journey. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else right now. It's really as devastating as the storm has been. We have this disastrous blessing of this grant to be able to help be a part of the recovery. I mean, it's really great to help be a part of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know how I feel about having anyone else jumping at the moment that you did, because you made it feel easy, you made it sound easy to understand too, and so far I think the work has been really good, behind the scenes, the work that we did with the public. I'm impressed by all the meetings you went to, the presentations that you've been doing, the interviews, all of that stuff, and the whole point of being just honest with the public and transparent with everything that we do. I think it's just helpful for the community in general too, and for us working with you. There's a lot of projects that I've been part of that it takes me a while to understand what's going on, but this has been easily the easiest and hardest one for sure.
Yeah, and it's all a process that we're following, right? So since we received the award of the grant back in January, it kicked off this action planning process, which there was the community engagement piece of that. There was the draft plan, and then it's very much kind of the road is laid out ahead of us pretty clearly by the federal government, the steps that we need to take, but it's really on us to actually do it the right way and do it transparently. And that's something that we're going to be emphasizing over the next few months, is being extremely clear about what our timelines look like. So, with like the small business support program, we know that there is urgent need in our community to get resources to businesses as well as to residents who are, for example, struggling with housing and housing costs and making repairs to their homes, which I do want to touch on that in just a moment.
Let's do it.
But it takes time to stand these programs up to make sure that we're doing it the right way and in a compliant way, so that we're, making sure that those who are benefiting from it are those who are intended to benefit, so that it's, the program requirements are met, that we're being, good financial stewards of the money. We have to stand those processes up, and that takes a little time. I understand that. I wish we could go faster, but I'm a process guy.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I will trust the process, and trust me, we're moving as quick as we can. The other thing I want to mention
housing, because we're running out of time, sadly.
Is that I want to point our community to renewnc.org, which is a CDBG-DR funded program through the state of North Carolina. Renewnc.org is where homeowners can go to apply for repair and reconstruction assistance for their homes. And it's totally free if you qualify. And it's a super easy application. There's folks that can help you fill out the application. You can call a phone number on the webpage. And what they're going to do is look at what your insurance claims looked like from your damage from the storm. They're going to look and see what FEMA helped you do, and then whatever remains, whatever storm damage you have that remains after that, they're going to help you get those repairs done and hook you up with a contractor who you don't have to worry about finding. They're going to help find them for you. They'll take care of all that for you. Get the inspection scheduled, get the work done. It's a super easy process. RenewNC.org is the place to go. So if you're an Asheville homeowner or anywhere in Western North Carolina, you can actually apply to this program. They're running this program all across the state, and we're supporting that through our CDBG-DR program. So with some of our housing dollars, we're helping to pay for those construction costs that they're doing. So RenewNC.org is the place to go if you're...
More time.
Yeah, RenewNC.org.
Yes. And the application is open until...
I think it's open until this fall. So it's like... You
can still apply.
Yeah, you can still apply. It's a wide open application window, and they're processing applications actively and confirming eligibility, and they're going to start scheduling repairs for folks as quick as they can.
I think that's a great way to finish the show.
Yeah.
Because we just reached the time limit, sadly, because there's so much more to talk about. But you'll see James again sometime, probably this year. But until next time, this is What's Up Asheville. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for joining, James. Always a pleasure.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRS 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30. Thank you for listening.